Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Today I'm making a video here responding to a question from a subscriber named The Darkness who asked if Axie Infinity Classic is profitable nowadays, if it's worth it or not, how to get access in SLP. Oh, look at that, it even rhymed. Anyway, how to get access in SLP in the game. I'll make an explanatory video responding to his question. As he mentioned, if it was too much information to put in a comment, it could be turned into a video, and that's what I'm doing. So if this video interests you or you like it, make sure to give it a like. And then I'm recording the video. Firstly, his first question, and what I'll answer more towards the end, is it financially profitable? It depends. If you invest money today and don't have access, thinking, hey, I'll join the project and buy a cool setup which costs around $150. It won't be profitable for you. Now, if you're someone who played in 2021, have access laying around and want to try making some money, then it might be worth it. As I said, I'll answer this question with a practical example towards the end of the video. Now, answering his other questions, how can you earn SLP and EXS in the game? We basically have three ways. One through private tournaments, the second through daily tournaments, and the third also through private tournaments. Private tournaments, folks, you click on play, and then on private tournament, here you basically see the tournaments organized by the community. So these are private tournaments. If I'm not mistaken, when Sky Mavis is featured, they show up here too. But generally, these are community organized tournaments with most of them offering cryptocurrency as prizes, which isn't great. NFT, it's not something you can sell, but some do it sometimes. Like, look, a tournament offering SLP, for instance. This one here is private, so you won't be able to join. But anyway, and some have events. Events offering here. Offering AXS too. This is where you might find a tournament you can join, but it's quite rare. It's pretty hard to come by, let's say, but I wanted to show that this option exists. Going back to our notes, we have the second option, which is the daily tournament. Many people have tried it. Many people know how it works, but currently it's not running. For those asking in the comments, we're in the off season. So we are currently out of season, and out of season, the game didn't drop. It's letting us play the daily tournament. The daily tournament is basically right here at the top. You click on it and you'll have your MD10, right? Which are 10 games for you to win. And based on your rank, you'll have some minimum win goals to get the excess. Let me explain it to you. If your MMR is between 0 and 1,200 in the 10 games, you would need to win at least 7, and you would take here 0.19 excess with 7 wins. 8 wins, 0.29, 0.46, 2.59, and with 10 wins, 0.76. If you were an average player from 1,200 to 2,400, you would participate here in the Pro tier. The advantage of the Pro tier is that with only 3 games, with only 3 out of 10 wins, you already start earning excess. And if you are in the master tier, a master player or challenger, and above 2,400 from each win, you already take a fraction of excess home. Reminder that these values here, look, 10 wins here in the master tier, it's not updated. All right, guys, the person who on the first day of the season got 7 wins in the newbie tier took 0 AXS, 0.19 AXS home, but the person who on the last day of the season got 7 wins was not receiving 0.19. They were receiving approximately, I even put it here, look, 22% of the table he won from the values shown in the table. Why is that? Because as more people started to spread the news saying that Axie is paying again and all, many people got interested. The total prize is 700 XS per day, and the more people come to eat the cake, eventually your slice of the cake will be a little smaller. So on the last day of the season, the prize was here basically at 22% of the original value. I have this data thanks to Macon, who is a friend here on the channel. He played the last tournament, won 8 matches, and he said with 0.33 EXS, which is equivalent to 22% of 1.48. And now answering the first question here about profitability, whether it is financially profitable or not. So I will give 2 examples here, one completely out there and the second more in line with reality. Let's suppose you decide to buy your Axie team today. You want to invest in the game. You will buy the strongest team, the best meta team. You will pay roughly $150. You will play the arena with your team composition until you can participate in the master tier, at least 2,400 MMR, and start playing the master tournament. If you're an alien and win 10 games every day, at the end of the month, you will receive $117. You won't even recover what you paid for your team. Now, coming down to reality, if you are a more average person winning 5 games and losing 5, you'll make approximately $22 per month. Now I ask you all, investing $150 to make $22 in the first month, is that profitable or not? In the first month, you won't be able to get a high return relative to what your team is worth if you want to get rid of your Axie within the first month. Depending on the price and the people giving away, you can't even sell your team and get your money back. So is it profitable? Definitely not, to just put an amount there in the first month and already withdraw and start profiting every month. Obviously, I'm citing the most expensive example here. You can just as easily build a composition, for instance, of $20 to $25, which can perform similarly. But the big question, folks, is that in the master tier, you will very rarely find games as easy as in the arena. After all, to climb up, everyone plays with the composition. Everyone kind of makes their meta. When you participate in a game that counts for excess, especially here in the master tier, where with every win you take an excess home, every month you get an excess. Everyone will give their best. And very rarely, but very rarely indeed, will you find players here using comps outside the meta. So yes, you can build your comp for $20 to $25 and come play here, but very rarely. And it's very unlikely that the person who plays against you will have a composition at your level. Does that mean you can't beat them? Quite the opposite. Even Maicon himself, if I'm not mistaken, with his poison comp or whatever comp he used, with a comp much inferior to $150, I think inferior even to $50, managed to get 8 wins. The big question is that when you play with a slightly cheaper composition, you tend to perform a bit more. So maybe you won't be able to maintain an average of 5 wins, maybe 4, maybe 3, which will eventually make you earn a bit less. So explain there all about these daily tournaments, folks. We also have the Grand Tournament, which I believe is the tournament for people to qualify for the World Championship. How does the Grand Tournament work, folks? You can't play regardless of your ranking. So you're basically going to pay 150 raise here, 50 of gold, so you can register there and play. And you're basically going to play a bunch of knockout rounds here. So there are thousands and thousands of players that will form dozens or hundreds of brackets. You'll basically be thrown into one of them and you'll play against other players until only the best players remain. So you as a regular player, your goal here in the Grand Tournament is to reach round 5 and stay in the top 100 to get at least one AXS with the coins, while the top 16 and above will qualify for the Axie Classic World Championship. And now returning to our game, you saw there was a guild system. The game also rewards by guild. And here, folks, if I'm not mistaken, it's great. Great. Of gold currently in Axie Classic. You will see the amount of AXS that the guilds took home this last season. The top one here, which is this Bloom squad, received 2,000 AXS, took 2,000 AXS home. If you click here, look, you see that they have 54 members. I'm not exactly sure how the division of this AXS works, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, 30% stays with the guild and 70% will be divided among the members. If I'm not mistaken, it's something like that. So imagine you being one of the 54 guys who will get a share of 2,000 AXS. That's a lot of money each player will receive. The top 2 already gets a bit less, but basically, folks, that's it. So it's very top that rewards. Look up to the top 20, guys. You can make some access cash here too. And still talking about guild rewards, as I said, I don't know much here to keep talking, but if I'm not mistaken, folks, these are the points, okay? The top 20 that earned an additional 250 XS. It scored a little more here than the 21st. And if I'm not mistaken, each guild has a points goal you need to hit to take an AXS home, which isn't shown here. Here, the top 20 received an extra reward, but that doesn't mean the lower ranked guilds aren't scoring. If your team scores a total of 5,000 points, you'll get, for example, 1 AXS. If the team scores 1,000 points, you'll get 3 AXS and so on. I don't know the exact scoring they have here either. And I don't even know the number of AXS they pay out, but if I'm not mistaken, it's a nice amount too. I'm just using this guild system here, folks, because over at Grand Tournament, there's the guild point system. Every victory you get there. And in the daily tournament as well, I forgot to mention that. But the daily tournament also gives you a point here for your guild's rewards. So basically, the ideal thing is to join a guild and keep playing to get a score that you'll take some rewards home. And the same goes for those who play the Coliseum. Thanks, everyone. Same thing. Look, the Coliseum, it works the same way. Nowadays, it's 7 games. Each victory you get, you score points for your guild. Aside from playing normally, you can also use SLP, and the matches will be basically worth SLP. You pay an entry fee of 100. If you win the 3rd match, you're already in profit. Win 4, and you'll profit even more, and so on. So for those who play the Curse of the Coliseum, you have this point system and guild points as well, which the arena players don't have. Then there's also the Battle battle pass that if you reach Challenger, you can redeem, if I'm not mistaken, $35. The pass costs $25, so it's a way to gain $10 from the game. Say it pays from the game too, but only if you reach Challenger to get those last 3 AXS. If I'm not mistaken, if you reach Master, you're still at a small loss. Another way to earn some money from the game is here on the Daily Bounty board, which is currently in beta. But basically, every day you win a match in Origins, win a match in Classic, and come here to sign in, which is basically checking in, you get points. And at the end of the week, the points are exchanged here for fractions of AXS. In my case, I just win 1 match in Classic and do my check-in. This gives me 50 points per day, totaling 350 points in a week. By gathering 600 points, you can exchange them for a Premier ticket and you unlock the Premier League. And here, folks, they award AXS to some people who manage to complete the task. And here, folks, you basically get a lot of categorized missions for AXS. Basic, intermediate, which will give you a few more points. Look here, advanced, which means the advanced level, giving even more points depending on the mission. And last but not least, the master tier, which are very rare missions for you, but if it appears and you manage to complete it, you get an excess straight away just for completing the mission. And here it shows the percentages of each mission appearing for you. For a mission that gives you an excess directly, the chances are around 2%. And that's basically it, folks. Thanks. Everything that exists in more ways to monetize, for example, the buying and selling of axies, but that's not for folks who just want to play the game. So that was our video responding to the question from our subscriber here on the channel, whether or not it's worth playing Axie Classic nowadays. As I said, that really depends from person to person. Nowadays, it's hard to say that Axie is an NFT worth playing for monetization, as there are many games where you can get a very good return. The big issue is that Axe is a well-established game, and it's very likely that most of the games paying well today won't even exist in the future. I do think Axe is a cool project for you to get into, but it might be a cool project for you not to get into. Get into it later and you might be able to reap good rewards. I think Classic is still in its early stages, and maybe in the future it will monetize in a more aggressive way, maybe with bigger prizes, maybe rewarding those who play the arena like in Origin. I believe there's still a lot to come, but today, speaking about profitability, Classic is definitely not the kind of game I'd want to play. Anyway, folks, this was today's video here on the channel answering one of our subscribers' questions. If you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Big video and goodbye. Big hug, and I hope to see you in the next video.